Welcome to New Mexico Black Rifle Operators Union. I'm your host, Sean. I'll try to keep this as brief as I can because it's more bad news. The ATF, at the behest of Biden and his administration, has started going after rare breed triggers. Anyone who's bought one, there's a guy who has 21 of them. This is reported from Mike from Mr. Guns in Gear. He had 21 of these triggers. Now, I don't know why he did it. I don't know the whole story behind it. I didn't watch every little tidbit about it. But this is just a trigger that's a match grade trigger. And they've deemed it a machine gun. So they're now coming after people that purchase these. The ATF already last week was photographed coming to people's homes and videoed coming to people's homes and asking to see particular weapons because you bought multiples at a time, so they were coming to verify that you had the weapons and weren't straw purchasing them for somewhere else. On the surface, that sounds nice. However, they're going into your home and checking out all your firearms, and that's none of their damn business, and they're doing this without a warrant. The census, the guys that go around taking census, they were caught on film taking pictures of the actual Form 470s and database information of firearms users. Both of these acts are illegal. Rare breeds triggers, for one, have not been deemed, except for by the ATF, a prohibited item. They have not actually done anything but ruled on it arbitrarily. They haven't went through the process of testing the product. They swear it's a machine gun. In reality, it resets the trigger a little faster because of split times for matches, to my understanding. Even if it was a machine gun, this is getting to the point where freemen don't ask permission. You do you, but I'm beyond asking for permission anymore from the ATF or from the government. I will comply with the law as I see fit, as every other person in the United States does. I have never been someone that's ran counter to the law. I, however, do not agree with gun bans of any kind. Therefore, what an individual person does on their own time is none of my business. And I'm not going to report them. I, however, am going to do my best to stay as legal as I can. I don't own any prohibitive weapons. I do have an AR pistol, but depending upon what they deem with those eventually, I may have to get rid of it. Because of what I do here in the podcast land and what I do at work, those type of things aren't really a big thing for me to have anyway. I personally don't care. I personally probably won't sell it. It's more so find another person in my family that needs something like this and transfer it to them, legally, of course. It's getting more and more apparent that the Biden administration is definitely going after gun owners in the 2A. All because of, well, I don't know exactly. A lot of it seems like it's purposeful, like they're trying to disarm the American populace. They're disrupting everything. The economy is disrupted. We've had problems with the COVID lockdown stuff. And it's kind of getting to a scary place where I'm wondering more and more, are my fellow citizens actually going to do what is right? And I say that because I thought during the COVID nonsense there would be people that stood up and said, I'm not taking a mask. I'm not getting injected with an experimental vaccine yet. I want more data. I want more information. I want more time on the clock. I think, honestly, that's why, if you've been paying attention to the airlines and air travel in the news, there's increased delays right now. That's because people are burning up their sick leave and vacation time before they quit. If the mandates keep sticking, I would quit before I risked my career, and that's what pilots have to worry about. They have to pass flight surgeon stuff before they can fly. It's no different than truckers on the road who have to go through a physical. The same thing happens with pilots. The big difference is pilots know they can get work somewhere else. Truckers put up with a lot, and more of them are telling you no. In Canada, they did. In the United States, they will continue. I don't understand the mandates anymore because they've proven already that the vaccine doesn't stop infection. They've already said that they're working on a newer recipe of a new vaccine. You decide if you want to get that. That's not gun related. But it definitely plays into the government's trying to regulate your life. And I've said this before, that I think we need to start just peacefully non-complying, because it seemed to work very well for the marijuana guys. And I say that because where I live in northwestern New Mexico right now, I'm seeing dispensaries pop up everywhere. That's great. It's businesses. It's tax revenue. It's everything that municipalities and governments should want. So, how did that come to pass in some states? Well, it came to pass because people quit obeying the law. On a federal level, marijuana is illegal. It's a Schedule I drug. The only way that can get off of there is if Biden or a president or the House and the Congress, the House and the Senate pass a law that says to take it off the Schedule I. The president can actually do it by executive fiat and do it by executive action. They can go in and have them say, this is no longer a Schedule I drug. Why they're not doing it, I don't know. Why we're still, if so many states, and last I heard there's close to 35, I think, that have now legalized marijuana at the state level. It introduces a host of other problems, don't get me wrong. But how they got to where they're at, with so many dispensaries and being readily accepted in mainstream in society and culture nowadays, is because people have experienced it themselves. So we have to keep advocating for the Second Amendment, taking new shooters out. But we also need to grow a backbone and say, no, we're not doing this. And we need to get more active, more politically active, like the marijuana guys that got this stuff passed to begin with in this states. States' powers can fix this. Now, if you're in a blue state like I am, that makes it even harder. However, New Mexico passed marijuana laws that allowed them to sell it legally here. So it's possible in these blue states. You just have to get back to the grassroots actions, show up everywhere where there's 2A guys and get them active. There's more of us, and they're equal on both sides, left and right. The 2A doesn't discriminate because of politics. It never has, never will, and never should. I don't agree with just one group of people, the elite or law enforcement, having firearms. Anytime that's ever happened in history, just having firearms, meaning that the populace itself doesn't or isn't allowed to have firearms. Every time in history, starting with World War II, starting with Mao, starting with Stalin, anytime they banned firearms from civilian use, immediately millions of people died. I'm not willing to do that in the United States. So we're in a new place. Something to think about, guys. I think we really, really, really should start getting back to our grassroots efforts and start showing the benefits of the 2A to the rest of our community. Not just the hazards, because that's all they're ever going to look at. But if you look at marijuana, there's equal hazards and equal benefits. There's benefits for the sick, for the depressed. It saves law enforcement a lot of time and effort in processing someone. Now, it's just a DUI if you get caught driving with a substance. Again, if adults act like adults, we don't have a problem. It's when adults don't act like adults that we have a problem. And it's the same thing with guns as it is for any other device or drugs, cars. If you do you don't influence anybody else. You defend yourself, you take care of yourself. That's how it should be in the United States. That's how we've always been in the United States. Like, share, subscribe, be great.